Magandang araw mga kaproyekto. Welcome to Proyekto Pilipino, and sa kagaya ho ng pinangako namin, we are bringing back as our guest for this weekend, Dr. Lagmay. Dr. Lagmay, welcome. Leloy, welcome.
Hi, Fads. Hi, Dr. Lagmay. Good morning po.
Morning.
Hello, hello, Father.
So, so,
Morning.
so Dr. Lagmay. Dr. Lagmay, kagaya ho ng napangako natin sa ating viewers, we'll discuss primarily today Project NOAA, especially ho, padating na ang tag-ulan. So, hopefully padating na ho. So, maybe you can begin to introduce the background and whatever you want to discuss about Project NOAA.
Bali, in 2012, there was parang a program of government. There was parang ang sinabi ni Pinoy was to create a responsive program for disaster risk reduction. I think that was the instruction to Secretary Mario Montejo, who was then the Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology. Engineer po kasi si Secretary Montejo eh. And I think dahil nga UP siya, he thought na baka maganda yung mga technologies na pinaka-advanced na pinag-aaralan sa research ng University of the Philippines ma-apply, no? Kasi we cannot wait anymore for yung transition, di ba, nung research to application sa community. So meron namang ganong klaseng research, ang tawag doon ay action research. Some people think of or call it as operational research. Basically, yung idea was to make use of all of the research funded projects ng government, pati yung mga pwedeng ma-fund na research ng DOST at that time, and put them into operation. Parang ano to parang halimbawa sa UPPGH, hindi ba that's a research hospital as well. It's a teaching hospital. It's a hospital of the University of the Philippines. Probably the best hospital in the country. Habang nagtuturo yung mga faculty sa mga students, at the same time they are also publishing, no? Learning from their experience while treating their patients. So, ganun din ito. Parang meron tayong mga research na related sa disaster risk reduction na pwedeng ongoing, di ba? Parang you test whatever products there are in the world, the best science, the frontier technologies, apply it immediately to our disaster risk reduction efforts. That was the idea. And hence, it was called as the nationwide operational assessment of hazards. The key term there being operational, meaning that the research that is being applied is actually action research. Parang hindi na yung isusulat mo, the articles, the reports gather dust in the shelves. Isusulat mo, pero yung research na yon is being applied kasi we were embedded. The University of the Philippines researchers and other researchers were embedded in the activities of government. Embedded sa NDRRMC, embedded sa OCD, kasama especially after the implementation of the PRIDRA, no, pre-disaster risk assessment. Lahat ng pinondohan ng government kasama doon sa system sa lahat ng efforts ng government at that time. And it was called as the flagship program of government for disaster risk reduction. And it received a lot of funding from Congress kasi it was so, I believe, based on the response of mga congressmen, the response of media, the response of people, nagustuhan nila kasi it was very empowering. Ni-release lahat ng mga data sets, no? Yung lahat na data na hindi available dati, ang binibigay lang ay yung interpretation na, advisories in terms of parang warnings to be given by 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock, then 11 o'clock again. nirelease yung data sa internet, binigay sa mobile apps, no, real-time data, and it empowered a lot of Filipino people. Kasi ganun sa emergency ganun sa disasters. Kailangan parang you don't really know what you need. Okay? Just minutes or seconds before the disaster. And matatalino naman ng mga Pilipino. Bakit hindi mo bigay sa kanila yung datasets na yon and let them know, no, what's happening in their parang for them to be able to calibrate it as well. Kung umuulan ba, pag ganito pala yung ulan. Pag ganito yung satellite image, ganyan yung dami ng ulan. Let them experience it, no? And while experiencing it, have the best data available at their fingertips. Yes.
Dun po sa issue na yun kasi ibigay niyo sa publiko, sa maraming matatalinong Pilipino. Meron po ba kayong halimbawa na konkreto na nagamit yung impormasyon galing sa Project NOAA in a very concrete way para may matugunang problema o may policy solution na ilalatag?
Madami actually, which is I think the reason why you invited me again today, kasi yung ating last interview, I mentioned that there were 15 disasters that were averted, di ba? That was a rough estimate, ballpark figure yon. But since you're asking, I can give one such example. 1 year after Typhoon Yolanda, little do people know, nagkaroon ulit ng mga storm surges. Okay, this was Typhoon Hagupit. Okay, I think the international name was Ruby, or baka napagbaliktad ko yun. Hagupit 1 is the name of na international, Typhoon Ruby. It overwhelmed and totally destroyed the barangay, hindi ko alam kung barangay of basta Daram, in Daram, Samar. There were 0 deaths. Why? Because there was a hazard-specific, area-focused, and time-bound warning provided to them. At importante that they knew where to go. No? Kasi the hazard maps showed where the inundation would be. Hindi underestimated. Tama lang. Kasi yung Yolanda, there was a hazard map for storm surges, but they were severely underestimated. Hanggang, I think, 10 meters lang from the coast yung hazard ng storm surges. Pero the storm surges really went inside, okay? Inundated, went inland by as much as 2 kilometers. Hindi natin alam yon, and hazard maps will be the maps that we can use to tell us how severe these storm surges will be. At mahirap naman i-paint yung 5 meters, 6 meters kasi it's an absolute value over a relative landscape. Ang laki-laki ng landscape ng buong Pilipinas, even the Central Philippines region. So we needed hazard maps that would tell us how far inundation would be because of storm surges. And the storm surge hazard maps that we had were severely underestimated. And yun ang reference ng mga LGUs. So lahat ng preposition goods nila, lahat ng evacuation centers nila were also in the wrong positions, in the wrong locations. Ang daming namatay sa evacuation centers. People listened, but dinala sila sa evacuation centers where they died. So kung sa evacuation center, mali na tayo, what else for the others? Like prepositioning of goods, prepositioning of search and rescue people, where people will go. Wala pa tayo doon sa understanding of the word storm surge. Yeah. Even the hazard maps that were given to them were wrong, severely underestimated. So, paano na yon, di ba? And I don't think we learned kasi the maps that are being peddled, being used, are still the same maps before Yolanda. Okay. No? So I think we should have learned from that. And I still really don't understand why the same maps are still being used today to plan our communities.
Can we show a sample in visual? You remember last time we showed the visual just to refresh people's memories how the hazard maps from Project NOAA, no? are available and how it can be used, ano? Can we show an example?
Ah,
And then how they can use the Project Nova site or app?
okay, mag-share screen ako. Yan. Nandito po yung kung nasaan ako nagsasalita ngayon, I just type my location and then I'll get an assessment. So I can move that pin around, okay, and then know the hazards in my neighborhood. No? So pag pumunta ako doon sa lugar na yon, ay alam ko merong konting flood hazard level because there's a creek at makikita natin doon sa may creek na yon maraming informal settlements. No? So I move it to my office, for example, ayan, lagay ko sa office ko, there's no hazard for floods, landslide, and storm surge.
Yeah.
Useful ito and dapat tinitignan ito ng mga tao before the warning of pag-asa na may bagyo o kaya may monsoon o kaya may shear line.
Mhm.
Para alam nila where to go. Kasi hindi naman importante talaga yung malaman mo na yung may hazard sa iyo. Actually importante, pero mas importante yung saan ka pupunta. Diba? So the business of hazards mapping is not really just to identify where the hazards are, but really to identify the safest places to be in, the safest places to develop infrastructure, saan lalagay yung mall, saan lalagay yung future development, para pagka ganung paraan, pagka walang mga hazards, no, doon sa lugar na yon, wala sa pathway ng hazards yung mga development, even if the hazards come, there will be no disaster to talk about.
Mhm.
Okay. So, ito, ginawa namin ito for the entire Philippines kasi yung Project NOAA mapped out the entire country at high resolution for the entire Philippines ito, no, for landslides, storm surges, and floods. Kaya lang hindi namin natapos yung floods. Kasi ang argument was hindi naman daw nagkakabaha doon sa mga bundok, no? Pero ang sinasabi ko, hindi nagkakabaha doon. Walang barangay sa buong Pilipinas na hindi binabaha. And true enough, later nalaman natin na nagkakaroon ng baha doon sa Banawe, nagbaha sa La Trinidad, nagbaha sa Baguio, and lahat ng barangay merong problema ng baha kahit na papano. Kasi pag umulan sa bundok, merong path yung tubig, yung
Mhm.
surface runoff. And pag bloated yung river, nag-overspill yan, magkakaroon ng baha, tatamaan yung mga barangay.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is for the entire Philippines and you can see it's in 3D.
Yeah.
We map out also the buildings, the houses for the entire Philippines, no? Kasama ang AI, kasama yung aming partners na Microsoft and Mapbox, and yung OpenStreetMaps, yung Youth Mapper volunteers, we mapped out everything. So, Tacloban, for example, you just write Tacloban, ang ano namin dito, know your neighborhood.
Mhm.
Long for, para alam nyo. O yan, if we had these maps, sana, okay, we're looking at Tacloban already, no? So, kung if we had these maps, dapat ang pre-positioning nandito, no? Dito yung mga hindi tatamaan. And you can see na uh, hanggang dito sa loob, tumama yung storm surges. That's probably about 2 to 3 kilometers inland.
Yeah.
And evacuation centers, yung mapa na binigay sa kanila had the storm surges only up to siguro mga 5 meters from the coast, 10 meters from the coast. So paano na 'yon, 'di ba? Hindi pa pwedeng ganon kasi if you don't have hazard maps, how can you prepare? If you do not have the appropriate understanding of the problem, how can you find the appropriate solution? And that is what we were missing back then before Yolanda made landfall. The maps that we had underestimated the storm surges of Yolanda. Diyan pumapasok ang science. Bakit importante ang science? Ayun. Okay, so anywhere in the Philippines, halimbawa, punta tayong Cagayan de Oro, makikita nyo yung, ayan. So ito, tinamaan din tong we just fly to Cagayan de Oro. We made sure na makita yung mga buildings, aling barangay yung tatamaan, nasaan yung mga hazardous areas for floods, landslides, and storm surges. And I would like to use this opportunity, no, itong interview na ito, to encourage Filipinos to look at these maps. They are free, no? They are all for free. You can download the maps if you really want to make your own, no? Your own version of this website. You can also do that kasi we're for open data. We're pushing for open data, for sharing of data to others rather, no? Kahit sino, private sector, stakeholders na mga CSOs, private citizens, NGOs, they can use it.
Educators po, no? Banggitin ko lang kasi marami kaming mga viewers na senior high, junior high, and even some grade school elementary teachers. Baka pwede nyo pong i-share sa kanila kung paano nila ito pwedeng gamitin sa mga classroom nila para sa mga estudyante nila.
The easiest way is to teach this, no?
Mm.
The byline siguro dito, know your neighborhood. Hindi lang yung bahay, kung hindi yung kung saan kayo pumapasok, kung hindi pati yung kung saan kayo, saan yung office ng tatay nyo at nanay nyo, para pag may warning, alam nyo kung saan pupunta. Alam nyo kung may panganib dun sa lugar ninyo. Kasi kung may warning, tapos nandito ka naman sa lugar na ito, alam mo na walang panganib. We can stay in place. Tapos pahanap na lang. And then make a plan with your family. Diba? So, hindi lang doon sa subdivision nyo, kung hindi doon sa opisina ng nanay at tatay nyo, eskwelahan ninyo, know your neighborhood. And ang dali lang puntahan, nova.up.edu.ph. And kung gusto ninyo na mas detailed pa yung mga gagawin, just go to NOAA Studio. Ito, NOAA Studio. And if you want to download, ayun, download nyo. Everything is for free, no? Storm surges, makukuha nyo dyan, ida-download nyo lang. For all provinces in the Philippines. Okay, Zamboanga, Zambales, etc. You can go to NOAA Studio and actually look at the flood hazard maps na individually, yung landslide hazard maps, if you want it na mas na combination ng dalawa, and you can look at it in 3D. No? You can look at it in 3D. And if you want storm surge hazard maps, nandun din. And you can change their colors. No? Halimbawa, gusto niyo ng kulay pink, yan. Yung storm surge hazard maps, pwede rin. Okay, teka. Ito pala yan. Hazard 4. O, gawin natin kulay pink. Ayun, pink. Gusto natin kulay violet o kulay violet. No? So, pwede nyong tignan. And there are others. Critical facilities we also put there. Police stations. Nasaan yung fire stations. Nasaan yung hospitals. Nasaan yung mga schools. Yan, for educators. We are actually helping yung Senate, yung EDCOM, no? Kasi we have data sets na alap namin from volunteers, no, mapping out the entire Philippines kasi these are very important information, kumbaga tulong-tulong. Yes, explore na lang nila kasi marami pang iba, no, na laman nito. And actually, thank you very much for asking kasi as educators, no, alam naman natin ang power niyan, no? Power niyan to be able to spread the word. And sir, yung parish church, no? Father, alam naman natin na ganong ka-powerful at ano ang reach ng Roman Catholic Church dito sa Philippines.
Yeah.
Simple projects like this, di ba? Parang
awareness, Dr. Lagmay, awareness is a major element, no?
Exactly, Father. Disaster awareness is the first step towards disaster preparedness. So, ayan lang, titignan natin nasaan yung address, okay? Pag nag-zoom in kayo, makikita nyo na yung mga buildings. For example, itong sa Bataan, okay, Balanga Bataan, let's say, ayan, saan ba to? Balanga Bataan. Ayan, meron lang pwede pabilisin natin. Ito, nagpapasalamat si Mayor Francis Garcia, no, sa Project NOAA kasi sabi niya na warningan daw sila, nilikas nila yung mga tao nila mula sa baybay dagat at nung dumating yung Yolanda, nagka-storm surge daw sa kanila pero walang nasalanta, no? Ang mga puro mga bahay lang yun na natamaan, yung mga walang namatay.
Okay.
And nagpapasalamat actually the Twitter vocally sinasabi nila na thank you very much for this information. And I think kung mapalawak natin ito pa, no, mas
Mm-mm.
gaganda pa yung program. And in fact, in the UNDP report of 2022, ang sinabi, 59.7% of the local government units use these maps of Project NOAA.
Yung future ng Project NOAA, kung ano yung ambition nyo para sa Project NOAA, what
Yeah.
do we have to expect from Project NOAA? And kayo mismo, kung meron kayong, kung may magbigay sa inyo ng pagkarami-raming pera para i-improve ang project.
Siguro
Ano
ano
pong
yan, Teloy, putting it another way, ano yung wish list, di ba, ni Dr.
ano yung
Lagmay?
wish list nyo po for Project NOAA?
Well, ngayon naman kasi in 2017, the University of the Philippines adopted Project NOAA. And it is now called the NOAA Center. Dalawa yung program na yon eh. Merong isang tinatawag na UP Resilience Institute and the UP NOAA Center, which were approved by the Board of Regents of the Philippines, of the University of the Philippines. Now, I became head of those two institutions. Sabi ko, okay, let's not waste any one of those programs. Pinag-merge ko siya. So, it's now called as the UP Resilience Institute with the UP NOAA Center as its core component. Buhay na buhay kasi it's being funded by Congress, no? Meron kaming 10-story building na tinatayo that's going to be finished very soon. Merong support, no? Pero iba na yung aming focus ngayon. Before, we were national. Ngayon, we focus on LGUs.
Okay.
And we focus on other things na hindi na kasing laki nung scope nung dati from 2012 to 2016. But I believe that the program being retained in the University of the Philippines has preserved a lot of things. Number one, yung institutional memory. Number two, itong mga maps na ito, that if UP did not absorb the project, yung program NOAA, okay, everything would have been lost. Wala na yung pinakita ko sa inyong website.
Yeah.
It would not be there. You would not see it anymore. And everything in it, it will not be there. Number three, yung mga skilled, experienced, and talented human resource, mga researchers. Yun ang pinaka-importante.
Yeah.
Na-retain natin. They're here. They're still working for the program. No, it's now called the NOAA Center. And tuloy-tuloy lang. In fact, nag-i-expand nga kami. At any given point, depending on the number of projects that we have that is funded, no, umaabot kami ng 200 people.
Oh.
Pero we can definitely do more. We can definitely do more if we had funding, no? Sky's the limit yung pwede nyong magawa eh. Kasi there's just so much to do for the country. And alam namin, hindi namin magagawa lahat. For example, we have 1,634 cities and municipalities. Yung mga humingi ng tulong sa amin, natulungan namin, and in the span of 8 years, for example, nakatulungan lang namin ang 30 cities and municipalities for their comprehensive development plans, mga land use plans, sectoral plans, etc. And 8 years na yon, 200 people na kami. Ang nagawa lang namin 30. We need to expand that to all 1,634 cities and municipalities. And we realize we cannot do it alone. So kailangan mag-capacitate. We want all of the SUCs to be doing the same. After all, there's an LDRRM fund which is part of the disaster risk reduction and management law. There's funding available. It's 35 billion pesos a year, a year.
Wow.
And yes, a year replenished, no, yearly. And that can be used to fund research activities, scientific activities similar to what I discussed. And it can be used as content for crafting the development plans of the community, of the LGU, according to the vision of the people in that community. And we all know that if we make and if we craft good scientific and risk-informed development plans, that is related to activities for the attainment of sustainable development goals. That is well established in scholarly articles.
Dr. Lagmay, so
Yes.
your services would be available not just to LGUs but to any group that would be interested to work with you. Because I asked the
Oh,
question
yes.
because I work with Caritas Philippines, no? And one of our big programs, we have 7 legacy programs, and one of them is what we call the humanitarian aid, no? But that is really responding to disasters, and of course trying to prevent the loss of lives and especially lives, no, and property during calamities, no. So for example, our group, Caritas Philippines, we can work with you, no, to advise dioceses in terms of how to prepare for a say coming storm, ano. Pwede ho 'yon?
Pwede naman po. We work with LGUs, we get funded by USAID, we get funded by National Institutes of Health in the US. We get funded by the International Office of Migration. We actually in that project, we will be helping Fiji. We'll be helping Micronesia. Kung hindi kami gustong gamitin dito, pwede kami tumulong sa ibang bansa.
Wag naman po.
And actually, this one is funny kasi uh, in the span of 5 years, yung NOAA received I believe mga 17 international awards. We have less awards na local, much less. Half of that.
It's possible for us to work, our group, in Caritas Philippines, to work with Project NOAA, no?
Of course po. We welcome everybody. Basta kaya pa po ng katawan namin. Kasi sumasakit na yung aking atay, tsaka yung nagkakaroon na ako ng problema sa hindi na masarap yung tulog ko minsan sobrang stress. So hanggat kaya, Father, pwede po.
Dr. Lagmay, how do you just to understand the extent of your work, how do you update, kasi I'm sure ang daming changes yan. I guess especially when you talk about identifying the buildings, the locations, siyempre yan, no, papalit-palit ho yan, di ba? Kaya halimbawa ng Waze, di ba? I know ang bilis nila mag-update ng mga lugar, for example. So how did just
Kaya nga
the
po,
science behind the updating?
well, kaya nga po importante yung tulong-tulong na lahat. And sa mga conference na ina-attendan ko internationally, ang talagang push is for everybody to work with each other, no? Crowdsourcing, pati yung mga netizens kasama. The Youth Mappers is one example, no? Nagtayo kami ng UPRI Youth Mappers funded by USAID. And then after some time, I think hindi na lang isa yung branch, no? Parang meron na yatang 15 to 20 na branches ng Youth Mappers sa buong Philippines. And kailangan i-update yung mga building footprints. And they are there. The netizens are there. They help. They have open platforms, no? Mga open data sets na nagtutulong-tulungan po. And that is being updated by everybody. Na monitor, na check, everybody checks each other. So para maganda yung datasets. Kaya yung schools na pinakita ko, yung lahat ng mga pump station to, gawa yun ng mga netizens, no?
Okay.
Complemented by information from government, the Philippine Statistics Authority, for example, meron pa kami, we also work with Facebook Data for Good. So yung mga data sets na available dito, napapaganda pa namin. Kasi yung Facebook datasets, nagse-separate pa ng statistics according to gender, according to age, according to spatial distribution. So kung yung barangay na mapa, isang ganun lang, yung Facebook kaya niyang hanapin yung population within that barangay, no, kung saan sila located. So we are able to generate better information kasi after all, we need the best products made available in our effort against disasters. I made this presentation trying to put in a timeline graph the disasters that happened since 1999.
Okay.
Well, at least as far as I can remember na nakikita ko sa literature. And yung mga alam ko rin kasi karamihan nito alam ko dahil pag may disaster I go there. That's my job, no? I get sent there, study the disaster, count dead bodies. I see all of the faces of the dead bodies. I know that they can't speak up anymore. Marami akong na ginagawa kapag may disaster. Also do forensic science sa disaster ground zero. Help in search and rescue efforts, provide the science kung bakit nagkaroon ng ganong klaseng disaster. And we document it basically, kung ano yung mga lessons learned. For one particular reason, we don't want to repeat the same mistakes. And unfortunately, sa 2 decades ko nag-aaral ng mga disasters, marami tayong mga lessons that we repeat, mga mistakes that we repeat. Okay, so umpisahan na natin itong failed disaster prevention and mitigation versus disasters averted. Medyo meron akong disclaimer lang ng konti dito. Hindi ito for an event, for example, a typhoon event na nakalista na. It's for a particular hazard that affects a barangay or adjacent barangays at a specific time, no? So ito yung yung listahan na yon. So for example, Cherry Hills landslide which happened in 1999, there were 60 people who died sa Antipolo. So ayan, nakikita natin, the hazard is the landslide. The area is that subdivision in Antipolo, and it happened in sometime in 1999. So ganon nakatala yung mga naka-identify itong mga disasters na ito. In 2004 there was the Dingalan landslides, no? 135 dead in Dingalan, debris flows 35 dead, ganyan. And so on. Ginsaogon landslide in southern Leyte, the Frank floods in Iloilo, the Ondoy floods in 2009. We all know that it happened in Metro Manila. Even Metro Manila is not exempt from disasters, floods, from flood disasters. Pepeng floods in 2009, 2011, Pedring and Kiel, 97 dead in Central Luzon from floods. 2011, Sendong floods, 1,268 dead from floods spawned by tropical storm Sendong, or typhoon tropical storm Washi, that's the international name. And then ayan, meron tayong RA 9729 which is the Climate Change Act. We have the RA 10121 which is the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Law. Project NOAA was launched in 2012. So makikita natin 2012, malaki yung Habagat floods na yun, mataas yun. 0 dead in Marikina. It affected yung Pablo, malaki yung rise in water level sa Cagayan de Oro, but 0 died. There were 0 deaths in Cagayan de Oro. And then in 2013, nagkaroon ng Habagat floods. Again, 0 deaths sa Marikina. Pero nakikita natin sa baba, meron din tayong mga disasters. Like for example, Pablo landslide in Compostela Valley, New Bataan, no? That was a world-class debris flow event. Ang laki. 20 million cubic meters of boulders, gravel, and water cascading down the mountain drainage network and overwhelmed the city or the municipality of Bataan. I don't know if it's a city, but it's New Bataan. It's called New Bataan. And the evacuees were put in a place, in an evacuation center, which was the most dangerous place to be in during Pablo. Just like Yolanda, mali yung maps, no? They were put there. Kawawa nga eh. Kasi lumipat sila, they were transferred, and they died in that hundreds died in those evacuation centers. And of course, we know Hayan, no? Hayan sa Tacloban, sa Estancia, sa Iloilo, sa Carles, sa Tanawan, Palo, iba-iba yung lugar na tinamaan ng storm surge, and that's listed there. And then 2014, we also had habagat floods dito sa Marikina, 8.74 meters rise in water level. 8.7 meters, 9 meters, that's high. Kasi hindi naman, ang 10 meters, 3 stories di ba? So, mataas na baha yan. And then, ito yung na-mention ko kanina. In 2014, a year after Yolanda, storm surges destroyed 1,664 houses totally in Barangay Daram, Samar. But there were 0 deaths. Kasi na-warning sila. The warnings were hazard-specific, area-focused, and time-bound. And they had they had hazard maps that told them where to go. Okay, 2014, Agaton floods. Nako, massive yung floods dyan sa Butuan. Only 2 died. Senyang floods, there was 1 death in Tagaloan. No? Mako, 7.7 meters. Mataas yung baha na yan in Tagaloan. 0 deaths. 1 death. Ining floods, 7 to 8 meters rise in water level in Abra, Ilocos Sur, 0 deaths. So ilan na to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's proceed. 2015, world-class debris flow similar to what happened during Pablo in New Bataan. Mas malaki pa itong debris flows na ito, yung event na ito, 0 deaths in Nueva Ecija, especially in Gabaldon. And then there were the Nona debris flows that hit Gabaldon again, 0 deaths. Malaking baha din nun and malaking debris flows similar to what hit New Bataan. And then there were the Nona storm surges, 3 meters height, according to Cedric Daep of Legazpi, 0 deaths. 2015, Ferdy, super typhoon, category 5 that hit Batanes, 0 deaths. Karen typhoon, category 4, Bato, 2 dead from heart attack and epilepsy. 2016, super typhoon Lawin, Kalinga, 5 dead, rest of Luzon, 14 dead. Minimal, no? 2016, Nina typhoon, category 5. Okay, 13 dead total in different areas. Kasi magkakaiba yun kapag isang barangay lang as opposed to 1 dead, for example, in a barangay in separate provinces. No? Yung list ko was isang hazard affecting a barangay or adjacent barangays. Okay, and then 27, Vinta floods, no? 9.83 meters in CDO, there were 0 deaths, but there were Vinta debris flows that killed a lot of people. 32 dead, 13 missing, 240 and scores missing according to ABS-CBN and so on. So, meron tayo dito na nasa blue, which are averted disasters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, yung kanina natin, 8 plus 9, ilan yon? So, hindi pala lang 15. So, we have more.
17.
17 examples here of averted disasters. Now, if we go to the international database, okay? International database. Ito, let's look at the graph to our left. This is from the EMDAT. That's an international disaster database, no? Kung saan nagtatala ng mga number of fatalities per year. So, we have this record for disasters due to hydrometeorological events. What does that mean? Ito yung mga events related to severe weather, to typhoons, to monsoons, and so on. Total fatalities per year. Okay? May tinignan namin sa EMDAT, no? EMDAT, everybody can just search for EM dash DAT or EMDAT. That's the International Disaster Database. When we looked at it from 1986 to 2022, okay? 2022, makikita natin na okay, yung Haiyan happened in 2013, ang taas oh. And then there was another year, I believe 1991, mataas din yung fatalities. But from 1986 to 2013, or even if exclude natin yung Haiyan kasi medyo parang special siya, no? Ang daming namatay eh, oh. Nasa 6,000, 7,000 plus according to the international database. The average number of deaths per year was about 1,000 to 1,250. Malaki eh, di ba? But tingnan nyo, what happened from 2014 to 2022? The average number of deaths per year was significantly reduced to about 250 deaths per year. So that's a reduction of about 1,000 deaths per year. So if that continues, 2014, let's say in 10 years, kung gano'n, 250, that would be about 2,500 lives saved. That's based on the counterfactual evidence na kung wala tayong ginawa, no, sometime here, no, just before Haiyan, ayan, no, makikita niyo naman yung space. Kung wala tayong ginawa to address our problem sa disasters from hydrometeorological hazards, it would have remained doon sa range ng 1,000 to 1,250 ang deaths per. But government did something. All of us did something. I don't know exactly what. Maybe it's a combination of everything that we did, including the inaction, the approval of the laws like the Climate Change Act, the Disaster Risk Reduction Management Act, maybe Project NOAA, maybe the Nationwide Hazards Mapping Program, etc. I don't know exactly what. But maybe naging mas aware yung mga tao. Maybe the Catholic Church tried to tell people that you have to raise your disaster awareness through whatever means, no? But we did something. I cannot pinpoint exactly what, but we did something. And I believe that that's something that we did, or a combination of things that we did, led to the reduction of the average number of fatalities per year from 1,000 to 1,250 down to 250 on average per year. And I believe that's a significant reduction of fatalities per year, which is worth mentioning to the world, no? Worth telling the world that we were able to do something, but also worth telling the world that we need to do more.
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi one life lost is one too many. And 250 is still unacceptable as an average for the number of fatalities per year. Yeah. So we can celebrate something, maybe tell the world that okay, this is what we did to reduce the number, but we also know that there's a lot more that we can do. So our task, our job is not yet finished.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Lagmay. Very, very well put. No? So, I think Dr. Lagmay and maybe Lele could chime in. Napakaganda ho kasi nabanggit nyo na we don't know what happened but everybody sort of did their share. Yun ho yung philosophy ng Proyekto Pilipino. Na more and more in addressing major issues, no? Agriculture, itong disaster, it's a whole nation approach talaga ho, 'di ba? Kaya nga proyekto ng buong buong bansang Pilipino ho, ano. Lelo, you want to say
Which is
something
how it
before?
should be,
Yes, yes.
Father.
Oo.
Oo.
Tsaka kagandahan, Dr. Lagmay, ang nangyari, tingnan nyo, no? Pardon my saying this, ano? Walang egos. Walang egos, no? So,
Ang
kailangan
problema, ang problema, parang inherent yata sa Pilipino yon eh. Kaya tayo nagkakamalit sila.
Babalikan ko tong tema na to because even for other episodes, yung conception na civics podcast tayo, no? And yung
Ah,
knowledge natin of civics, marami dito galing sa Grego. Natuklasan ko recently na yung Greeks meron silang particular interpretation of the word idiot. Ngayon, pag sinasabi nating idiot these days, ang ibig sabihin nun parang bobo, tanga. Pero para sa mga Grego, yung idiot is somebody who is incapable or hindi niya kayang mag-contribute doon sa syudad niya, doon sa bansa niya, doon sa proyekto niya. Sa tingin ko, given how disaster prone ang Pilipinas, kung hindi natin alam kung paano ilikas ang sarili natin, ilikas ang ating mga loved ones, imitigate yung disaster bilang isang community, then we are by Greek definition idiots kasi hindi tayo makapaglingkod sa lipunan natin in that manner. And yung trabaho ni Dr. Lagmay at ng Project NOAA at ng NOAA is to help us become, in the Greek sense, a little less idiotic and in that sense become better citizens of the Philippines.
thank you, Lele. Ang gandang ano nun, concept. Dr. Lagmay, final words? So, we give you the final words.
Ayun, natutuwa ako na nag-invite po kayo ulit dito sa Proyekto Pilipino, lalong-lalo na nalaman ko na ang layunin pala nito ay para mag-encourage na lahat magtulungan, no? It's a whole of nation. Eh, yun naman ang sinasabi ng Sendai Framework. Our efforts for disaster risk reduction to build resilience should be a whole of nation approach, whole of society approach. Dapat tayo nagtutulong-tulungan. That's our major advocacy, no? Na magtulong-tulungan tayo and kailangan din science-based. And because we want to combine those two, kailangan natin i-open up yung ating mga data sets, no? Yung ano yung nagawa namin, we want everybody to be able to use it as well, no? Walang restrictions, gamitin nyo. Maybe you can develop new products, innovate from those data sets that we were able to generate. After all, maiksi lang ang buhay, Father, eh. Hindi naman natin matatala lahat itong na-create namin sa hukay namin, di ba? So, share it. It's for the benefit of the people. It's for the benefit of society. So,
Yes.
yun lang po. And sana magtulong-tulungan tayo, gamitin natin. Meron naman tayong meron tayong sense, parang a sense of yung what's appropriate and what's not, no? Pag ginamit natin 'yon, malalaman natin kung ano yung dapat nating sinusuportahan at ginagawa at ginagamit, no? One way na masasabi ko na pwede natin magamit itong mga nakakatulong sa ating community. They're available, they're there. Let's share it. It does not take much effort from us. Let's just share it, and that's the least that we can do for our community.
Thank you, Dr. Lagbay. On that note, we'd like to thank you again, and hopefully we can expand the discussion later on. We'll invite other groups to dialogue with you. And Lele, maraming salamat, and mga koprekto, marami pong salamat, and hopefully you learned a lot, and hopefully, as is always our hope in Proyekto Pilipino, sana ho maengganyo kayo, mabigyan kayo ng inspirasyon na maging bahagi ng proyekto para dito sa larangan ng risk reduction sa ating mga sa ating mga disasters, no. Ito po ang Proyekto Pilipino. Marami pong salamat.